we're going to learn how to edit a video. In this video, I'm going to make a hypothetical advertising, little advertising piece for our company, just as an example. But you can edit videos for any type of industry. Obviously, does not need to be just marketing or anything like that. It is very versatile. Canva can do just about anything that you can think of. Okay. So here's a copy of an existing video that we've worked with before. And I'm going to use this as a guide because we have kind of limited time today. But if you wanted to edit a new video from scratch, and maybe what we'll do is next time we'll do that. We'll go and edit a video from scratch to show you how to do it. But if I wanted to do a new one from scratch, I would type in, if it's for YouTube, I would type in YouTube video, and then I would pick YouTube video from here. Now, it's really the size you want to look at. And if you remember the other training sessions that we've done, and if you're watching on YouTube, you may have seen other full course videos. We have a full course series going on YouTube. We talked about the size of the content being very important. It has to be tailored to the platform. And there are general sizes that work universally for most, if not all, platforms. YouTube being 1920 by 1080 that you see there, that's going to work for Facebook. That's going to work for Instagram. That's going to work for LinkedIn. That's going to work for, obviously, YouTube. That's going to work for almost everything, right? Whereas if you typed in Instagram, for example, you might get a smaller size, right? Because Instagram can work with smaller video. So that's the standard size that we're looking at, just so you know. Okay, and that's very important because you don't want to finish a video and go through all that, and then you're going to have to go and make adjustments, which you can also make adjustments to the size in Canva, but then you have to go and like shrink things in or expand them. It just kind of saves you time by knowing exactly kind of what you're doing before. And the more you plan, right, just like with anything else, whether it's editing a video or learning how to play basketball, right, practice makes perfect. Does not matter what it is. All right. And a strategy. Have a plan, have a strategy. So let's talk about the plan and the strategy with this video. So the one that I'm working off of is videography tips for construction companies. And I've already made one or two other videos about videography tips for different industries. This one is specifically for construction. So I have my layout. It starts out with a welcome, like an intro and a welcome, a backstory on me. Because if you're watching the video, it's like, why do I care about these videography tips, right? It's because the person who's telling you this information has a ton of experience in this industry. So right away, I'm like leading with the credibility without being like, oh, I'm so great. It kind of does it without bragging too much. And then we give them a clear explanation about what they're going to learn in the video so they understand it's relevant to them. And they want to continue, then we give them a reminder, hey, after this information, if you still are with us, we're going to show you some of our work, which is a realistic expectation of what you will receive if you want to purchase our services. And this translates to everyone. Let's say this was the video for the actual construction company itself, a hypothetical construction company. A similar flow would work. You'd have an intro, which is something they would repeatedly see the same thing, conditions people, right, to know and like and trust a company. Just like the Safe Light commercial. You ever heard of like Safe Light repair, Safe Light replace, those commercials and stuff? You hear the jingles in your head. It's almost why it keeps on. It's like then you hear in your sleep. So you make their intro, their version, right, again and again. You put them in every single video, at least for the long form video, because you have the space to add in that extra stuff. You're always going to want some kind of welcome or greeting, something about liking and sharing and subscribing in these things. You want to put in some backstory for credibility. All this stuff translates to other companies, but the wording is going to be different. Their background is going to be different, stuff like this. but this overall flow, like I'm saying, kind of translates to other people. Okay. Then we have like, okay, let's take a deep dive into this topic. Then we're transitioning into the information. And a lot of this information about how you should film content for construction is going to be similar to other industries that we work with. Okay. Because construction companies and outdoor cleaning companies and pest control companies, right? Those are big industries we work with. What do they all have in common? They work outdoors directly with the homeowner or a business owner if it's a commercial property. It involves building things or maintaining them, making them work better. People who work with their hands, crews that meet in person. They're not virtual companies like us, right? So something like videography where you're seeing the things that they're doing is super important for credibility. And the kinds of videos that they need to film and promote are going to be similar. But the difference is the actual service they're performing and the company itself. You want to play to your strengths as a company. Everyone does. But a lot of this information is going to be similar, but will be regurgitated and changed to fit a new market, right? So instead of construction, I can make this pressure washing, or I can make this soft washing or tree removal or whatever. And the types of content would be the same because they're similar enough industries, right? That does not mean, though, you take video from another company or you use stock video. The idea is that we want these companies that we're talking to through our content, right, to film their own content so their audience gets a realistic idea of what they can actually expect with them, and so that it doesn't look generic. Like this is a video, for example, that we did for one of our clients. This point of view thing of soft washing a house is really cool, right? And like something like this is also kind of cool, but it's obviously written there, like if I only see that and I never see stuff where it actually is a real person doing it.
Yeah, like real person.
I might be concerned. It's like, is this business even really a business? You need to see their actual stuff here. Obviously, not every single part of this video needs to be that because it's more educational. And I'm talking to those companies and telling them this is how they need to advertise. I'm not just simply showing off my work. It's not a portfolio video, although at the end I am, and some places like this throughout, right? But at the end, I'm putting actual video that we took. This is all from accounts that we've done that are in related industries. Obviously, over the last decade, I could pull out stuff that is associated with 10 or even 20 other industries. It's not relevant to these kinds of people, though. So this is just the relevant stuff. It's pretty core of the spark spine and stuff. So yeah, and they can film something like that themselves. It's just going to take some time and skill. But if they're willing to learn and they watch videos like this over time, they can learn what I know with a lot of these things. So it provides a helpful service. And the song associated with the video is already in here.
Is this one video, right?
This is one video, and this video is 4 minutes to 12 minutes long. And you see every single one of these things that I'm clicking on here. These pages are different slides. These are different slides. And the cool thing is that I can individually download every single slide or the whole thing altogether. So I could take an individual clip and add it to something else later, or just post the clip. Like I could
like shorts.
Right. I could take this 9-minute clip by itself from this video and post that as its own video for social media. A 9-minute clip, film both vertical and horizontal videos. I can do a whole piece on just that one little anecdote on this video. And I could post that and say, do you understand the importance of filming both in vertical and horizontal? Because a lot of people don't. And I could make that a whole piece. A lot of people think, well, I want short form and long form content. Let me just film a bunch of stuff and cut it up and worry about it later. But you're filming something that's horizontal, and if you try to make it vertical later, it could look really crappy and you just wasted hours of your time and money, because what if you had your crew come just to do this, you know, or you hired somebody to assist you, and then, you know, then you can't use the filming, you know? So these are all really important things. I can make a video out of any of these, literally and figuratively. So let's kind of start. Let's get to some of this. We might not be able to finish it in our time together, but we can make a version of this for, I'll tell you, because I made this a partial series. I don't want to redo one that we've done before. That way I could essentially use it, right? Let me see. So we did this for construction, obviously. I think we did this for, we did something similar, not exactly for landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
Something for cleaning, which it's more focused with outdoor cleaning. So let's do pest control, because we haven't talked enough about pest control.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do videography tips for pest control companies. And remember, we talked about the naming, right?
Mm-hmm.
The name of the video, I say that this is a YouTube video for us. And if it's a specific video for a blog, for example, I'll put CMA YouTube YT video and I'll put parentheses blog, or I'll say blog video. So I know that it's supposed to go on a blog post, which we often do. Because let's face it, a lot of people, they don't read. Right, they're just gonna watch the video to get the information. I'm gonna put date there instead of the actual date, because we're not sure when we're gonna post this. So I'm gonna copy this,
Mm-hmm.
and here I'm gonna change this. Now, Desiree, when you're learning editing, that's why we're doing all this. When you start out, you're probably going to use templates of videos we've used before, at least starting out. Right? And then eventually you might make your own stuff from scratch. So this is going to be kind of a similar process to what you're looking at. Well, I did, I changed this out for that. So far it's the same. This I need to remove because this does not look like pest control to me. It looks like construction, right? So I'm going to say pest control here. And I'm going to copy the word pest control because I'm probably going to use it as a keyword to pull up other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to graphics, and we want to add in a graphic somewhere to indicate that it's a pest control company. And I like stuff that's like blue colored, or maybe we can make
the blue and white. Mm-hmm.
It falls in line with our graphic design. We're going to animate this. We're going to call it breathe. And this thing, I'm going to change this down here for a different image that's more pest control. So I'm going to go to photos, and then I'm going to type in pest control. And I'm going to look for something that's similar. This has the word pest control here, but you see it's kind of covered by me. And then I have to move this up, and it's going to take away from that. So actually, let's go and hit the back button. I'm not too crazy about that, to be honest. You see what else we could do. And I can kind of move this around. I don't have to keep this there. I just like the way it is, and I like the way like this all flows together. So I'd like to keep that the same. Plus, this thumbnail did well based on our analytics. So we don't want to like reinvent the wheel. If it's working, it's working. So what if I just type in, oh, see, well, that's gross, but it'll get the job done, I think. Let's see. All right, so we got that is still not going to work. So we want something that's kind of more landscape-ish, right? Looking at some options here. They said we could kind of change the layout of this if we wanted to. I'm just kind of looking to see if anything kind of pops out at me. Okay, so let's go back, click, move this. Let's try to see if we could reveal a little bit more of this. I see that's not going to work. Back, 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 and back, and back. Okay. So let me see here. Pest control. Let's say animated. Let's see here. There's none of this has to do with animated. Now I can go to another stock site and I can specifically look for one if I want to. Do this here. Pest control. I'd have to make this the whole background. Let me see. I would actually be willing to consider that. Actually, let's go back. Let's do this because I want it. Want these words on there, and it's going to fill up the whole page about me necessarily having to do that. So here's what we could do. We could have the word pest control there, like this, and we can change the background behind the text,
Mm-hmm.
and we can make this work. So I'm going to remove this for right now. Let me see. Why won't it let me delete this? I'm kind of confused. Let me hit the back button. All right. This, I want this deleted. So if I'm, okay, here we go. Delete. Got it. All right. Videography tips for pest control companies. Put it there. I'm going to move myself. I'm going to change my image anyway. This,
Yeah, I think you can even change like this one, like the little photo.
right. So if
Or
the word
another one.
pest control is kind of like a little bit off like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's okay. And this can be like there. Now we need something behind the text.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just floating around there. So we're going to type in square. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. So under elements, we're going to type in square.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want a square-ish element, or actually rectangle shape probably would be a little bit better for us. Let's see. This. I want one that I could change the size. Let me see what we got for square shape. No, I can't change the size of that one. This one I can change the size. So actually I went to square shape and I picked this one, which is only available in the Pro. You'll have access to. They have something called Canva for Teams, and then you'll get access to all of my premium stuff. All right, so I'm putting that behind it. And I want this to have a pop of color. If it'll let me, it won't, because this is just a white one. There are other ones I could change the color. So for the sake of time, I'm going to change the color here. I'm going to make the words darker blue. This is one of our blues. Now it's coming up as an example because all these colors here are in our little color wheel, and I just recently edited stuff. So it's coming up as a suggested, but if it was not, it would be under our brain kit, and we could talk about that another day so that you understand what the brain kit is. Maybe we'll do a video about that too. Doing a video about a video about a video. Well, that's how it goes, right? That's just the world that we live in now. I'll make this a little bit bigger so it stands out. Okay, and this guy we can put here. We're going to move, it lets me click on it, this down slightly. And I'm wondering, no, I guess it'll work. It'll work. I want to make this a little bit brighter because it almost looks off-white because this white is so much whiter, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not every white is exactly.
Right now it's better. Yeah, it looks better.
I think it looks better than it did too. And now we're going to add a picture of me because I'm on every single thumbnail. We want to be consistent. Mm-hmm. It should not be the same one as the last time. I kind of switch up the angle that I'm in, and if I'm pointing to stuff or smiling, not smiling. I don't necessarily need a smiling one for pest control, but we don't want to look like sour either. You know? And I'm going to go all the way to the bottom because I have so many pictures here. It is a lot. And let's do this one. I'm like just pointing to it, kind of neutral face. So, and we could talk sometime about the psychology of some of these facial expressions and why you put people on thumbnails. I could do a whole meeting with you about that. It's good marketers understand that marketing is more about psychology than anything else. It's all psychology. All right, so I'm pointing to it. It's like we got videography tips for pest control companies. Read all about it. You know, I'm pointing to them. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to animate my little thing here, and boom, we got a thumbnail. Not only do we have a thumbnail, remember what I said? I could take this and download it as a video. I could have this be a little tiny video, right? If I wanted to. Okay, so that is how we just made a thumbnail for pest control. We had to switch things around because it just wasn't working. I really wanted to use this picture or something like it, and overall, I think it works. I don't mind that it cuts off the L there, because if you see pest and then you see this word, your mind fills in the gaps, right? Same thing like with this. All right. So this is good because it's the intro. This is good because it's the welcome. My backstory is the same, right? Watch this video for important videography tips, especially good for the pest control industry. Now, again, if we didn't have this already done, then we'd have to do it from scratch, but this is a continuation of a series, so that's okay. And I have like 3 or 4 different industries I could do this for, maybe more. I mean, there's God knows how many industries, but just that we like primarily work with.
I think you can put the second one of the first line.
This one?
Yeah, I think this one is good. But in white.
We're going to make it white so it blends in with other stuff. And we're going to do animate. Have that breathe in.
Oh, yeah, it's better.
For some movement. Stand to the end to see some of our videography work. This is fine because it's just like a closed video that could be for anybody doing anything. Same thing. Now let's take a look. Okay. Make sure you have a smartphone that takes quality photos and videos. Well, that's still going to work for pest control. There's not going to be a lot of differences of specific things we put in there for pest control. We might have a few pest control only slides, and I'll have to think about it as we go along, but we do need to show pest in like related, what do you call it? Stock videos right here. So we're going to call this 9 seconds because it's all about 9 seconds. It gives people enough time to read. Have a strategy before you're filming. Yep, they need to have a strategy before they film. That's still going to be relevant. Film both vertical and horizontal. We talked about that. They need to do it. I'm just going in order here, adding in stock videos that I come up with. I could add our own videos. I could add stock stuff from other sites that we have as well. There's so many different things I can do, but their stock content pretty much gives me what I need. So, and I'm going to make this just 5 seconds because this is just a little transition thing. Film a lot of before and afters. Yeah, you need to do that for pest control. That's another thing because it's a liability thing. It's a liability thing. All of these have to contend with that, unfortunately, but it's just the way it is, you know. But not only does it help with liability, it gives them content. Film point of view content now, it's trending, but it won't trend forever. Pest control, I think it could work. The only caveat is that you don't want to show, you know, like killing a rat or something like that. It actually passing away. I'm trying not to be like disrespectful about it. Like, so here's where I add the specific things for the industry. Yes, you want to film point of view content, but remember, for liability's sake, you don't want to film this and this and this. That's where the industry stuff gets specific. But this is good. This could stay here. But we're going to put this here. Actually, this is, oh, I don't know. That's kind of weird. That looked more like point of view. Oh, that's just like, I don't know what that's about. Let's do this. This is a little bit closer to POV because it's actually showing the work more than the person. I kind of consider that POV. All right, so I made a duplicate of this slide. You see that? I made a duplicate here. So I don't have to open up, I don't have to start a new slide and put in all these elements from before. I'm using this as my base. All right, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to say, do not film any animals being harmed for liability's sake. And so you don't violate anybody's like terms and conditions on social media or whatever platform. You want to have a great video, then you have 2 seconds of a rat going, oh, you know, and then some organization complains to Facebook or something down, you know. We don't want that. All right, so, and I'm not going to show any animals flapping around because that's the point. Is like we know what they're doing here, but we don't want to show like every little thing. Use a GoPro or similar video camera to film POV content. Still relevant. Even if they're not using that to film POV content, they should still use something on that quality level. And the GoPro is good because it's small, it's very compact, and you don't have to be an expert to use it. You'll get addicted to it because it's so easy to use, and you'll want to get all the bells and whistles for it, you know. But it's absolutely not a requirement. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to replace it. And then we're going to call this 4.5 seconds. How much of somebody writing stuff down or arbitrarily do you care about? Post on 2 to 5 platforms every week. Absolutely, 100%. They need to do that. Let's do this one because we haven't done this one yet. We're going to call that 9 seconds. Use time lapse. Okay, so we're going to do pest control. Let's see if we can find one that's a time lapse. Now, that's very, very specific. I don't know if I will be able to get that. That doesn't look like time lapse. This does not look like time lapse. This doesn't look like time lapse. Actually, it might be, but I don't think it is. This one's definitely not. Let's take a look at this one a little bit closer. No, that's just like a handyman. That's more of a handyman thing. That's not time lapse. Just grosses me out seeing it. It's like such an important job, but okay, so they don't have an option for time lapse, so I'm just gonna leave. Actually, no, that's the same video. Huh. Okay, never mind. So we're gonna pick a different one. Let's see this guy here. Okay. And we're gonna do that. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have a good example for time lapse, but I think most people know what time lapse is. Just type in the word pest and see if we can get something that comes up that's a little bit different. Custom spring stuff, chemicals to remove pests. A lot of these pest control companies they'll do it to remove possibility of pests going on your lawn and stuff too, right? That's part of it. Let's see what we got here. Always just your prospects, pain points in every video. Yeah, I have pests. It's a pain. I don't want to deal with the stress of it. You know, I don't know how to do it. I want to make sure that it's done safely so it doesn't hurt other animals that I care about. You know, I don't want to hurt a neighbor's dog in the process of getting rid of my rats or my roaches and stuff, you know, stuff like that. Those are concerns that the prospects are going to have. And then we don't want to see it right there. It's flopping over and it's like, oh, we could get hit, you know, with a copyright or with an infringement. And then here, oh, it's okay. So this one's actually going to be 8 seconds because I just like keeping it even. Doesn't have to be. That's just a me thing. All right. And that's still more than enough time to read this. All right. Then we're going to find another one. Spray. There we go. Always ask your followers to follow up and like and share and subscribe. Which, hey, let's do that right now. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And just watching this on YouTube, right? All that still applies. Showing your face, showing the team's face. Who's the owner of the company? You know, like who am I going to be meeting? Like, you got to remember, these people are going to houses, to residential homes. They're meeting people. You know, a stay-at-home mom who's like all alone, you know, and there's so many crazy people out there. You want people to see who they're actually going to be connected with. So we're going to use this one again because we're kind of limited on footage, but it's all the way at the end. So we're going to hope we're going to get away with that, right? It's to demonstrate a concept in this case, right? Let's do this one. We're going to keep it very, very short because I'm not a fan of it just being a squeegee bottle. We're going to call that 4 seconds. Just real quick, easy breezy. Check out some of the videography work we did in the cleaning, construction, and maintenance industry. This still applies. Then we have our examples, example. And there's a bunch of videos that are going to be moving around.
Mm-hmm.
Comment below to see what you want us to do next. This still works. This one we have to change to pest control. Replace it. We're going to make this like 5 seconds. A little contact us thing. Thank you for watching and subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. And then at the end is the end screen. And this, when this is on YouTube, it'll tell you, click here to do this, click here to do whatever. All right, so let's think real quick of, because we're done now, like, because the music's already in there, all the transitions are already in there, everything's been changed. We added one more slide to be specific about pest control. So before we hit export and we're done, and this took us, we talked a little bit before this video started. The video itself now was 15 minutes, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we started like.
If you have a good template already made and you're just changing it out for one industry to another, and it's the same information, this specific case, you could do another, hypothetically, you could do a video every 15 minutes. Let's say like us, you have all these different core industries. Like, let's go to our website real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see all these industries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we've worked with over a dozen other industries besides this. And you see construction isn't even here yet. Like, this is still our website's always a work in progress. It's just how it is. But I could do separate videos for all of these and just change out a few things here or there. So each being 15 minutes, I could do an industry video for one of these in a few hours. If it's exactly like this with little changes and I wasn't going through, every step, so it's a lot of people make this harder than it needs to be by saying, I don't have the time. And yes, it does take time, but come up with some templates, make a plan, something you could work off of, even if it's not perfect, and just replicate it and just get it out there. Like, that's my expert advice for people who are just like, man, I don't even know where to start. Like, come up with something that's decent enough and replicate it for different industries, or change out the question if it's like a question and answer video or something. Just use something as a base and you will save yourself time. Okay, so let's think of anything else we can add to this for pest control. I know the liability of showing an animal being harmed is the worst thing. If there are certain types of animals that they cannot eliminate, they need to also mention that. Like, a big thing with pest control companies is roaches. Like, a lot of people will call you about roaches, but you have to be certified for that. And it could be very time consuming and costly to do. So a lot of these pest control companies either don't have the license to remove termites, rather, I think it's termites specifically, or they hire other companies to do it. So you want to be very specific about the kinds of vermin that you do eliminate. So let's say, where do we want to talk about that here? We don't want to talk about it in the POV content. Use your videos to show the progression of work. I think probably after this, like, if there are, let's go back. If there are certain pests that you can't control, and we know what that means, right? Then you have to disclose that info in your marketing. That comes up a lot with pest control because they'll have certain licenses for other things, like bats is another thing. Some companies can do bat control, others can't. So actually, let's show bats on screen because that's a good example, and that gets us some new video here. I know bat control is popular, but a lot of companies do not have the certifications to do that, or the equipment. Okay, so that's another thing, equipment. Highlight your equipment. Highlight your equipment and the things that make your company stand out over others.
Mm-hmm.
Not all pest control companies are the same. Sometimes it's just a guy with like a little squeegee thing, squeegee, squeegee, and that's what he'll come and do. And then other people, like some of the companies we've worked with, they're kind of in between. They, you know, they're not like Massey or one of those big companies, but they have a lot of different equipment. You know, so let's say pest control equipment. I don't think I'm going to come up with something because it's very specific, but let's try. I'm kind of seeing the same stuff here. Seeing the same stuff. Oh, this looks more like a repairman. I mean, a pest control person could hypothetically do repairs, but that's not what they're there for, right? Okay, so we're going to say pests with an S. I might just look for a rat video. Yeah, just look for a rat video. All right, let's do that one. Is pretty gross. They all are. I see if there's anything else that works a little bit better here. We don't want any of them in cages. That could be dicey too with these rules and terms and conditions. This is somebody setting up a cage. Oh no, the rat's in there.
Yeah.
Let me see. I mean, honestly, I feel like it would be fine, but let's not risk it. Let's see this one. Okay, I know what this one is, and I actually am pretty sure I've used it in another video. All right, so this works. All right, so I have another meeting here, like right now. Normally, I would go through this whole thing and look at it again, which I probably will after we're done here. But it's a working video, and like this is something where I can export it. I'm going to export the whole video.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell it to export clips. Download.
Mm-hmm.
I can do separate files, and I'm also going to do it as a JPEG medium size. So I'm going to have every single slide as a picture, every single individual slide as a video, and then I'm going to have one video of the whole thing. And this 4-minute and 35-second video is going to be blasted on YouTube with targeting for pest control companies in the area. And one day we will talk about YouTube targeting and how you do it. We can do that through third-party platforms that handle a lot of the work for us, or we could individually set it up ourselves through Google's ad manager, which is similar to running a Google ad, but it's a YouTube video. Both are good ways to do it. I personally like making those adjustments and doing everything myself, because then I know exactly where the ad is going and when. But sometimes those third-party things are an option. Usually you have less like availability of targeting and stuff, but it gets the ball rolling. And if you have a more generalized audience in a larger area, then it's fine. If you're a very specific audience in a certain area, like a lot of our content is, it's better to do it yourself on Google. We can explain that at a later date. All right, so I'm going to end this recording for now. Thank you guys so much, guys. And if you're out there on YouTube watching this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe.